and she wears these like baby something, and she wears like these crazy outfits, but she's so adorable.
Turn on your camera to go live in this watch party. Okay, so we're off.
Okay, so
What do I do?
hold on, I ended it and I'm like restarting it.
Oh yeah, this is
Better? Okay, so
Let's start over. Let's completely.
Yeah.
Bye, sweetheart. Nice meeting you. Thank you for fixing this.
Okay.
Mwah. Bye, bye, bye.
Yeah, I think let's go ahead and start over, huh? Because that way we can just delete the last one. Hi guys, welcome back. We had obviously. Oh,
Bye.
Yeah, thank you.
Like, what's happening?
I'm ready to go, guys. I'm ready to go. So, okay, so happy Thursday, guys. Welcome back to our shows. We had a little bit of technical difficulties, but we are going to start all over. My name is Digna, and I have
Sabi.
and we are
the Social Soda.
So, we have an amazing guest, Sharon Lee Zapata from the Bitchy
Business Briefs and the Zapata groups.
and the Zapata group, and a friend of mine.
Yes,
So
thank
you so much for being on the show. So
We're
I
kind
look
of
for like over
fun.
there.
And we're just gonna give a little brief rundown of what we were talking about.
Yeah.
We were talking
So the other videos, yeah.
we're gonna go ahead
Well,
and mix
yeah.
it. Let's just go ahead.
Yeah,
and
it was
start over.
grainy.
It was super
Sorry,
grainy.
guys.
So guys, please tune in. I'm gonna go ahead
trying
and
to fix myself.
I'm gonna go ahead and share this.
Yeah.
I'm gonna.
But we're super excited because Sharon is an amazing entrepreneur, author, and
Author,
artist,
podcaster.
podcaster.
And
Like
mom.
she does it all. And mom,
And
wife. She does it all, you guys. And she does it so effortlessly with such
Yes,
cool
she
style.
does.
She's
It's
so
called
kick-ass.
coffee.
And alcohol.
And alcohol.
Yes.
It
So
is alcohol. and
Sharon,
coffee.
you have one of the best personalities that I know. Like I love you.
Yeah,
Like
me
I mean,
too.
your personality is like no bullshit. Like and
Well, no, yeah, I was gonna say that because not even to interrupt
thank
you, but I was looking at her art. We're here at her studio in the Silos,
Much
and
better.
and
Good friend.
so if you guys just can get a little glimpse of the back,
Oh.
this is her art.
Oh, yes.
She
That's what it
does
is.
this. So
Pretty.
her little office, it's studio, it's super
Very
cool,
creative.
It's chic, it's fun. I love it. I love your clocks over here in the corner with the LA.
You know
the
what?
New York time.
Have you ever gotten a call, like somebody will tell you, hey, I'm going to call you at 4, and it's my friend that lives in on the East Coast, so I'm like, duh, I'll write it down.
So
So yeah, New York, LA, and Houston.
so Sharon, tell us a little bit of how you got started.
With what? Which
With
one? The writing?
the bitchy business brief.
The bitchy business, the beachy.
Beachy.
The
The
beachy.
BBB.
Actually, you know what? This was advice that was given to me, and I didn't take it. I was told, don't write the bitchy business briefs. You need to put beachy so it won't be offensive. And I'm like, no, I'm not trying to be offensive. And so we're going to put the bitchy business briefs. And if you notice, there's 2 eyes in bitchy on Facebook because Facebook wouldn't let me.
Oh yeah.
Oh, we
So-
are well aware of how sticklers Facebook can be.
Yes.
The rules. I was laid off in 2014 and driving down the freeway, and I was listening to, I think it was Grant Cardone and motivational tape, and he said something about don't be a little bitch, and I was like, oh, I like that. So
That's one of my favorite phrases, though. I'm not gonna lie.
don't be a little bitch. Don't be a little bitch. So anyway, I was like, okay, the bitchy business blog, because I wanted to start writing my stories, and so. Had lunch with a friend, Nakia, who actually knows Oprah or went to Oprah's office, and we had lunch, and she's like, Sharon, drop the blog. It's not blog. It's that bitchy business something. And so we said briefs, very short
It sounds
stories.
better with briefs.
I
So
do like
briefs,
it.
which I still want to. I'm going to share this now. Men's boxer briefs.
Yes.
I still want to have some boxers that has a little logo, and I thought that
I
would be
love that. That is
Or just like the moniker just all over.
yeah, bitchy business briefs.
Yeah.
So I was like,
That'd be
I
really fun.
haven't had the time
so
to
cute.
do that. So
I think you should.
we should.
Oh
We
my
should do
gosh,
that.
yes.
Because
So
I mean,
everybody-
you already have merch, Middle Finger Happiness, hashtag Middle Finger
We
Happiness.
do, and
How
last
much are those shirts?
those are $10. Everything in the studio is $10. I'm going to tell you why. People buy 4 or 5 items
Yeah.
at once. Because if I say it's 20, they'll buy one thing. But they're here $10, and they're like, oh, we'll take 2 shirts, and we'll take 2 books, and you're like,
I love it. I love it. And speaking of books, you just released a new book out.
yes. thank
So Middle Finger. Wait,
No,
yeah.
that's not the new
middle-
one. The new one.
Which one is it? This is
you.
the new
Well,
one.
actually,
Which is it? Is it?
that's last year. I
And
did
this
3
is
books
the
in
new
1
one?
year. That's how busy
These
I
2
was.
are the latest ones, right?
Yes, this one is from February, and this one's from March.
Oh, okay. Okay.
This is the newer version.
That
but
one's
these are-
newer.
They're both relatively new.
Yes. But let's talk about
middle finger happiness.
Because I mean, this is like, this holds a special.
That will tug on your heartstrings. Like it will tug on your heartstrings. It'll make you cry. It'll make you laugh. I decided to just be an open book about what I went through as a young kid with a narcissist mom, abusive, physically abusive for the first couple of years, and then it stopped because you start talking, you know. But they're funny stories. If you can't laugh at the shit you've been through, I mean, really, it just, you know, that's what it is. So middle finger happiness came to me in 2016, Christmas, and I was like having an F it moment. Have you ever had that?
Yeah.
You know, like I didn't want to go. I didn't want to go to this party, this family party, or this and this, and I was like, okay, let me just, you know, just start writing hashtags. So if you do hashtag middle finger happiness, it went viral.
Wow.
And then I decided to write the book, and so.
Is middle finger happiness somewhat of a autobiography?
Oh, you know what? I'm not gonna.
Like
I hope we don't get flagged.
Short stories.
You know, I guess so. I write like I'm talking to you.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like me and you were having a couple of cold beers in the back patio, and we're just talking about life. That's how I write. I don't know any other way to write. And so it's double spaced, super easy to read. And they're just little stories. They're short stories. And I think that's why the books are popular. They're very short. And then Hector Garcia of New Creative does a great job designing my books.
Hector.
The cover is super catchy. And I love yellow. So I think it just all ties into
Hector always
did
does
a great
a good
job.
You know what? And the funny thing is, when you work with me, if you're creative and you're like, I have this idea, I let you do it. I'm not one of those, well, I don't like, I'm so fucking busy. I'm like, oh, good, let's go. That'll work.
Yeah.
And that's it. And that's how I get so much stuff done. So I let Hector do everything he wanted to with that.
Shout out to Hector
and this
Garcia.
is a friend of yours, and you know her personally.
Well,
and that's a real person.
Susan Graham is here in Houston. We found her. Actually, Hector found her. Her niece owns a yoga studio. I wish I knew the name of the yoga studio. But Susan Graham's niece was friends with Hector, and then we connected the dots. And so Susan's like, yes, I'll do the cover.
I feel like Hector connects everyone because through Hector I met Kimberly, and through Hector I met you.
Yes,
and to be quite honest with you, I don't even know when I met you. I just I feel like we've just known
been a
each other.
couple of years.
Yeah, so I honestly
Yeah.
cannot remember the first time that I actually met you. It's like after the first time or whenever it was, it has just been. We've just been.
I don't know Hector, but I do know Kimberly, and we met at Kimberly Nanette's event at the Women's Elevating Women Entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Something like that. I don't remember the title.
Then the title of that. Well, I met how this all started, and this is another. I'm such a good little short story person. So I met Hector. I actually followed him, not like followed him, but I
followed him to his
I
house.
I just followed him. This was like 5 or 6 years ago. I was like, oh, he's doing some cool stuff. I literally texted him or picked up the phone, and it took a year for us to have coffee. That's how busy. So when we had coffee, I had $9 in my checking account. And I'm like, I got coffee. He got coffee. He got a sandwich. He got a baklava. I'm like, oh, it was a negative, $15 in my checking account just to meet with this guy. And we laugh at this story today because as an entrepreneur, I mean, that's how it was. I think it was about 5 years ago. And so we've been friends ever since.
Aw, that's awesome.
Yeah, because we're self-employed too, so we kind of just live by the seat of our pants every day. I saw a meme that cracked me up. That's, as realtors, you're like, oh, my life sucks. I don't have anything happening. I think I'm gonna quit real estate. And then you get a deal. You're like, okay, I'm gonna go buy a new car now. I can go buy a new outfit. Like, we live like this every day. We're super.
Not me.
No, but like,
no,
not me. What I mean, it's like the emotion. Not that you're literally gonna do it, but just the emotional roller coaster that it is. Like, one day you feel in the dumps, and then the next day you're super elated. It's crazy how you can't be a calm person when you're a self-employed because you just don't know where the next.
We have a group chat for our neighborhood with the moms, and I'm in the group chat, and I'm the bad mom because it's always call Felipe. I'm working. Text Felipe. I'm here, and so one of the moms says, Sharon, because you work too much, and I'm like, I am not employed. If I don't work, I make no money. I almost said and I'm not married to a doctor. It's like I won't throw that in there, but so one of the moms is like, oh, hashtag boss babe. People don't get it.
Yeah, no, Eric, he's like, comes home and I'm like, papers everywhere. I'm still in my pajamas. He's like, damn, you guys hiring? And I was like, you do not realize what goes on, okay? Just because I'm in my pajamas at 4 o'clock, okay?
Your hair's still like all.
I feel like we literally work about 16 hours a day or 18 hours a day, because I always tell people, when you're self-employed, your work never stops, especially in this type of stuff that we do. And then we do the social media.
Well, here's a question. I'll interview you. Why do you do that?
Oh,
why? Well, you know what? I think both of us never thought of doing this as a second thing. But we met by chance at a real estate.
Well, I don't want to get too
But I mean,
into
like,
it.
but I meant, like, why do you do?
You know what? Because
we fell in love with it.
The reason why is, like, I love meeting the people, and it's like the drive of the people that we interview kind of like motivates us. It like it just like that momentum. It's like success begets success, you know. And I really like that's kind of like what I like.
But but what I was getting at is that I never would have imagined myself doing this. And when we met, we're like, you know, it took some convincing to get us to do this.
Right.
But then once I started doing it, I found the passion and love for it. And it's like Digna says, we love meeting people. We love meeting amazing, awesome people.
So you get this, I get it, what I say, you get turned on, or you get your mojo gets turned on when you're around people. And then there's people that are the opposite. They like the quietness. They don't want to be around people, and they get energized by that. So I always pay attention to that, because I'm like, if I talk too much to someone and I notice someone's like really quiet, I'm like, okay, I need to tone it down a little bit because I'm overbearing for them. And then guess what?
We were just talking about this today. I attract loud people.
I wonder why.
I do.
Well, because she's very quiet, you know? And it's she's very quiet.
But I love the loud people. I love the loud people. I love people that are bubbly, that are exciting, that are passionate. I love that. And that's honestly what I attract. All my friends are super loud. I'm always the quieter one out of the group. And people wouldn't think that because of the social media, but I'm an introvert.
Yeah.
So,
I think I am at a certain point. People tell me, "Oh, you're always on social media." I'm like, I try to go to bed by 9:30.
Yeah,
I'm really boring.
I'm an introvert extrovert. I prefer to be at home, but it's like I can turn it on in a second because my job depends on it.
Right,
you know?
you have to.
So tell me a little bit about
we did that
podcast.
Yes.
Okay, so
the podcast.
because it's named after this, right?
Yes.
It
Where's
has
the
the
sign? I
same
think
name.
the sign's around there somewhere. Middle finger happiness.
I'm sorry
podcast.
to
That's
abruptly
okay.
cut it, but we
Yes,
had to keep going.
Digna knows about the abrupt. We were just talking
So
about
okay,
too.
you know us. It's all.
Don't touch or you will.
And you know what? People love the mistakes, don't y'all? So Middle Finger Happiness podcast. I started it December 28th. I've been wanting to do a podcast for 2 years, and then I was told by a friend, "Hey, you don't have nothing to sell. Don't do a podcast." And I'm like, "Well, what do you mean I have nothing to sell?" Well, now I have the books. Okay, so I just decided, yes, I think because we live in an age where you don't have time to read. By the way, these are going to be an Audible by the end of the year. So finally, but the podcast is really, it's the books. And so I hate to say it, the first 15 episodes, I was doing them Tuesdays and Thursdays. And it was just me. And I listened to them, and it was kind of boring because it's just you, and your voice kind of gets real monotone. And then I decided to have guests. And I've had a really amazing group of diversity amount of guests, or diverse. And this coffee is just making me like a hamster on a wheel. And I need to get off the wheel. You ever seen a hamster?
So when on the podcast and you're reading the excerpts from your book, do people read along with you? Do they read certain sections?
No, you know what? I've gotten emails.
You should do that.
I have gotten emails. Hey, did you go to high school with me? And I'm like,
I love that.
Maybe.
You should invite them to read of the section about them.
We should. I was talking to Ozil, who is the founder of Pod Houston. And he's a podcaster. Actually, hey, Ozil.
Hey, Ozil.
We talked last night. We want to do a drunk podcast, but not drunk like we're going to get drunk. But to have a couple, because there's a cocktail bar over there.
We're here for that.
And in corner. We want to do that, kind of like Drunk History. Have you heard?
Yes.
Okay.
It's so
we should do some of the quotes, because let me tell you about that book.
This
This is a funny book.
I want to talk about this one too, because I like.
What is the name of it?
It's a new day.
It's a new day. Don't be a shithead.
So I had all these quotes and memes out there for a long time, and I made this little square chat book from Instagram. It's over there somewhere. And my friend's like, "Oh, you need to make this into a book." I'm like, "Well, that was $17 to make, and they're all colored." So if you flip through it, it's super easy to read. It's like each meme and then how I came up with the meme.
I love it.
So it tells you how there's a short story.
Oh, I love that.
Well, I love it says here, It's a new day. Don't be a shithead. Offers positive, disruptive, slightly irregular strategies on how to stop procrastinating and smack down the bullshit in your life.
Yeah, that's it. That's a good book to read if you're in the bathroom too. I should write it's like a 3 shit day book. Like you could take a crap for 3 days and read that book. It's so cool.
Oh my gosh, I love it. I love it.
Yeah, that's a book for a toilet book.
Guys, it said this little sign says podcast middle finger happiness, but if you look at the back, it says don't touch or you will be poked in the ass with a horn.
Let me tell you how that came about. So we have all the podcasting equipment on this table, right? The mics and the mixing board. And I would have people come in here with their small children. And I mean, I'm a mom, so I know, hey, don't touch, you know, and I would come back and the buttons would be all like, so I put that little sign there. And then I had an event one time and I had food spread out and nobody would eat the food because it said, can we eat your veggies? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, oh, the sign.
I was actually listening to your podcast on the way over here, and I was like dying laughing. I was in the coffee shop waiting for them, and then I'm like sitting there cracking up out loud, just like listening to you talk about your son. It's like I let him watch YouTube all day long. It's like, yes, I do. She's like, I don't give a shit.
I don't, but I do go back and look and like what History Channel, the Science Channel, how things are made. He's very, I mean, I couldn't tell him about World War II or tanks or this or the environment. So yeah, he's at that age where, and we do monitor what he can watch.
How old is he?
He's 11.
Oh, okay.
So he's not a baby, but he's not 18 or 17. So yeah, and he'll tell me all the stuff he learned.
I love it.
Smart little kid.
You know what? Let me touch on something that I heard on the podcast. And you were reading an article on the science of good and evil. And it was talking because we had just talked about, you know, your mother and
narcissistic. Yeah.
So I know that there's like, as adults, we have to deal with some narcissistic people. How do you, Sharon, how do you deal with them?
It's funny, as I've gotten older, I can spot one or a person probably within 15 minutes of talking to them. But we all have a little bit in us. Mm-hmm. We do. We live in a society where we take our selfies and we do this. But I'm talking about the real twisty ones. You need to just cut them off.
Yeah.
There is no, if you go to any therapy or look this up, the best way is to completely cut them off. If it's, you know, you're an ex-husband and you have kids, and I can't talk about that because I don't have that situation. Right. But if it's an aunt, an uncle, a brother, a sister, or someone that
just acquaintances, people that you know, it's better to cut them off.
Is because you don't have time. We all have an expiration date stamped on us at any time.
And it is your life, and you are allowed to do whatever you want, whatever makes you happy. You know, you don't have to have
just positive.
I think downers in your life.
I think the challenge with narcissists is that they don't see it. You know, they think that it's like everything that they're doing is okay and
well, that too. They love to have a supplier. A supplier is somebody who's usually really bright and shiny, intelligent, and they will cling on to that person because they don't want a dull person. They don't want a dull, boring, you know, you're not doing anything with your life type person. They want that shiny person because they mimic everything, which makes them look intelligent. And it's just, I've had to do research on it. I mean, it was a lot. So I touch about it a little bit in the book. The journal that I'm creating is going to have little experts or excerpts. Again, it's this coffee on how to deal with it, and it's just something we all have to deal with. Whether you're in the classroom in corporate America, a family reunion. I mean, it's just the way it is. You know, it's just the way it is.
Crazy, but it is true. It's not. It's extended, not just your family. It could also be in a workplace.
There was recently too. Somebody told me here in Houston, a conference for the damage that narcissists have done. People have lost their jobs because they've been accused of things that they didn't do. So there's this huge movement right now. Once you start looking at it, it's great. It's deep. It's a deep subject.
I had switched brokers, and there was one broker that I wanted to interview, but the reason that I didn't is because of a narcissist that had just started there. And I was like, you know what? This person would be damaging to my image, and I'm just going to stay away from it. Yeah. I mean, because it's like you really have to tread lightly with them. You really do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and they never apologize.
Nope.
They'll say, "I didn't say that. I didn't do that. I remember that." So you just, like I said, you start going through it, and you start realizing it. But on the happy note, because I always try to look at yes, it's a fucked up situation, but there's got to be a funny to it, because if I hadn't been through this, I wouldn't be able to talk about it and actually laugh at it. And I know they're probably watching. I'm like, you know what? Great. There's the book. It's in there. There's no names mentioned. Well, and you can't get sued over it because there's no name mentioned in the book. So I was like, this is going down. And I'm not the first person to write about this. There's many books. But what makes it different is it's funny and sad, which is crazy.
But it's good though also because it helps people identify the characteristics of a narcissist. So if you think that someone is just a certain way, you don't have to live with that if you understand what their mechanics.
And you go through it for a lot because it's a roller coaster, because things are good, things are bad, things are good, things are bad. I'm not saying things have to be perfect all the time. There's no such thing, but it's a real, once you start looking at the signs, you're like, this is not normal. This is not normal. In fact, I have a chapter, my normal is not your normal.
Ooh, I like that.
Because I think because you know what? Like, I think your intuition, your gut will always tell you something's off. This is not right about this. You can feel if you're uncomfortable in a situation with someone.
Right.
You should always try to listen.
As a grown up, but as a child being raised, you don't know the difference, and then you kind of start figuring things out. Wait a minute, that's not the way Sarah's mom is, or Billy's mom is, or Kara. You're like trying to start looking at it differently and going, wait, this is not right. So,
at what age did you realize it?
Late. I was about 38 years old. It took me that many years.
Wow.
And then at 44, no more talking.
Oh,
so that's a lot of damage.
Wow.
So that's why I tell people, even, and if there's somebody listening right now, you may see who you see me out there, but I have my own demons that I deal with every day, just like anybody else. Because, I'll paint and I'm like, I don't like that. And then that voice in my head, oh, you're not qualified. That you're not qualified to be it. That's not really a job. That voice still, I'm like, fuck that little voice, and then I write about it. Don't you tell that voice to go to hell, and then keep doing your painting or keep doing
goosebumps because as growing up, especially Latinas, you have so much, like so many people just saying it's like, oh, you're too big or you're too small or you're that's not good. You shouldn't do that. Your personality shouldn't be this. And
you know what? A lot of Hispanic parents do that, and a lot of them it's not because of narcissism. They practice and they believe in hard love, tough love. They think that if they put you down, that they're going to make you better.
Right.
So not necessarily they're not narcissists, but they just think that that's
I get that.
But I'm just letting so I can understand what you're saying because you feel like you're never living up to that expectation. Like my mother still thinks I don't have a real job. Like I am a realtor. I've been a realtor for 11 years, and my mom will still tell me, when you get a real job and you can do this and that."
The real job is like the Fred Flintstone. I don't know if y'all are too young to remember. Like you clock in and you clock out and you get your check on Friday.
My mom assumes a real job.
That's a real job.
So
Walmart. Can you imagine us working at Walmart and on the aisles?
People would hate me. People would hate. I've actually been in retail and brand a staff of 80, so they would hate me.
One of my first jobs as a teenager was at Walmart, and I chose the garden center.
Why the garden center? Why?
Because I love flowers.
Yeah, that's really pretty.
I didn't want to deal with people that much.
No, I've worked retail before at Macy's. I've worked at my first job was Taco Bell. At 16.
Okay.
And so here's the thing about Taco Bell. You got to fold the tacos a certain way, and if it cracks, you got to throw them away.
Over.
So I would break them on purpose. And so I would take like 10 tacos home at night. So not that we weren't smart, Well, we weren't starving. I just wanted to take the tacos home. But yeah, you have to fold and those burritos. And so, I just don't talk. Let me flashback about burritos. And
I occasionally like me some Taco Bell. I'm not gonna
I like the crunchy tacos. Yes.
Someone stole the thing of my credit card. I don't know. I paid for public parking, and then someone tried to steal my card and buy Taco Bell.
That's fun.
And I said, okay, that's a red flag because first of all, Capital One, I would never eat at Taco Bell because stomach problems after that. So I know that wasn't me because they text me, there's a charge on your card. Is this you? I was like, no.
Ooh, you know what? Memorial Day weekend, which was 4 weeks ago, I got hacked. I went and bought gas, and I noticed when I slit the thinking there was something weird, but I kept on going. The next day I had a $58 charge for gas and a $28 charge for gas at that same place. So it was hacked. So, but they fixed it right away. Well, 10 days, but yeah, it's happens.
And you know what? Bank of America sends me, I have a couple of cards with them, minimum 8 cards a year, and it drives me crazy. But you know
they
what?
They renew it.
Well, if there's any compromise, they just send you a new one.
That's what they do.
So I'm actually like thankful. Like I was thinking about it because I was like frustrated that I was inconvenienced, and because I was like, but you know what? It could be a lot worse.
Oh yeah, and then you got to change all your other stuff, your insurance and everything.
It's so prevalent these days. All this identity theft and.
Oh, it's horrible. It happened to us a long time ago.
Yeah, it's happened to me a few times. But anyway, so what about this one though? We have not talked about this book.
You know, that book's doing really good still from last year. So we know last year was 2018. 2017 was Harvey, August 25th. I'll never forget because my house flooded. I lost all my clients because their business flooded. So I lost a lot and I was really down. So it's the little book of startup inspiration, 20 lessons learned the hard way, damn it, from the most outrageous year of my entrepreneurial life.
That's what I was gonna read. And then it says advisory, explicit content right at the bottom.
I love it.
There's a little bit in there. Just really like, what do you do when you've lost everything and you have to start all over and then your house is upside down? We didn't have flooding like a lot of people. We had flooding up to my calves or my knees, but it was still a lot.
But you know what I think about that? Once you've hit rock bottom, there's no place but to go up.
Oh, absolutely. For some people continue going to rock bottom, but
how much is more rock bottom? If it's bottom, like unless people want to make it deeper,
and
they're digging a hole at rock bottom.
And I mentioned that in that book. I have family members, cousins that came from bad upbringings where one was like, oh, this is my life because this is what I grew up, and then he's not even here anymore. He OD'd. The other cousin was like, this is crappy. I got to pull myself up. So not everybody, it is perspective. Not everybody. Yeah.
Because they say that we're creatures of our environment or victims of our environment. But I do think that people can overcome situations that have happened to them and be better. You know, that happens with abusive parents, abusive relationships.
Some people can. Not everybody can. That's why we have a society that's so.
And that's where therapy really helps.
Whether it's self-therapy or therapy, but not everybody, you know, people will turn to drugs and alcohol to medicate their guardrail damage. And they don't know. They don't want to go talk to somebody. They're embarrassed.
Yeah.
And the thing is, and I see this a lot with millennials. I'm the mother of 3, and they get so down so easily. You know, they get down, like they feel defeated with the first. They try something one time and it doesn't work. They don't want to try again.
Right.
You know, they just feel so defeated all the time. And I just feel like depression is such a big thing these days. So many people are depressed.
Oh, I deal with it.
A lot of people are taking their lives.
I think it's just that people are talking about it more now.
It's a big deal though. And a lot of people, I think because like you said, they're okay to talk about it. People were, embarrassed to say that they're depressed because, when people say you're depressed, a lot of people's
they think you're sad, but it's not. You're weak.
But a lot of people say, oh, it's okay. You're gonna be okay. Just like, like they shake it off. They don't understand. And I've been guilty of that. Like I try to no, you're gonna be fine. And now, I talked to someone who went through depression. I was talking to Nicholas. Remember that day that we interviewed him? That's when I had an eye-opening moment. And, I started to be a little bit more sympathetic towards people that are experiencing it because I don't have that problem. And I just feel like you can just get out of it.
Oh, just snap out of it. Yeah. Well, shit, if I could snap out of it, I would. And so it's programming in your head, and you have to. The brain, believe it or not, is plasticity. It does your prefrontal cortex, which is the front part. It can be rewired, but it takes a lot of hard work, and you almost have to disconnect from everything and everybody and work on yourself all the time, and come out when you feel good. I've paid for events, and people know I'm paid for an event. I'll be there, and then I'm like, and it's not that no, this wet blanket comes over me, and I'm like, you know what? I paid. It was a fundraiser. I'm not going. Take my money. I'll see y'all next year. And then I feel bad, but I'm like, no. Why would I make myself go when I didn't feel good? I would have been crappy So
Yeah.
it's a hard thing. It's a hard thing to understand, but it doesn't mean you can't live a good life. I noticed that because I've been on medication years ago when Zach was born, Zoloft. Have you ever?
Yeah.
Dude, you're like a zombie. You're like, oh, the house is on fire, and you're like there, whatever, and you're like, for 6 weeks I lived like that, and that's not me. And
You
so
want to experience life. You don't want to just
you're like.
Wow.
Whatever. Yes. Somebody cuts you off in traffic and you're like, eh.
So
I mean,
what do you think has really helped you kind of overcome those little moments of
depression?
depression?
Well, definitely physical activity. For those of you who know, I do run. Michelle Obama runs too. It helps her depression. I mentioned that the other day. Running, yoga, lifting weights, disconnecting from everybody at least once a day for 30 minutes, at least. And then having those talks in your head and saying, wait a minute, this is not real, and then going back. Everything stems from childhood. And something else I learned, those early childhood development classes that we're supposed to, early childhood development, your first 6 years is going to determine a lot for you. Yeah. So if you could go back to that little girl and just tap her on the shoulder because you're going through that moment and go, hey, you're going to be all right. You're going to kick ass. You're going to get through this. You have to talk to yourself like that. And that's what it takes. It's almost like your own therapist.
Yeah.
I do tough love with me. Like I will literally be like, stop being a little bitch and just let's go.
Yes,
let's go.
yes,
Like
I
literally that's how I
tell
talk to
myself,
myself,
I tell myself to let go because I get so caught like, no, this is what I'm going to do. This is how I want to do it. And sometimes I have to just release the control and let it guide me because I can be so stubborn when I have my mindset on something that I'm missing out on a better blessing or opportunity because my mindset will not allow me to open. I'm just like, so, but you're so right. Cause I always tell myself that usually because she's more extrovert than me. I'm always she's my security blanket or anybody that's with me is my security blanket. I'm like, I let them go first. And then when I warm up, then I'm like,
oh,
so
let's go do it.
So, no,
I mean, you have a very similar personality. Where's my coffee?
On my own because Digna couldn't go. And I'm pepping myself up. I'm sitting down in the lobby and I'm like, I'm a bad bitch. I got this. I walk in there, walk right back out. And I'm like, okay, again, I'm a bad bitch. I got this. I'm sorry. Social soda. And I walk in and I'm like, hi. So it was fine, but I had to do it twice.
Where was this?
When I did the pop-up shop.
Oh, yeah.
It was crazy.
That's funny. Our self-talk.
That is so
our
funny.
self-talk.
So I did it, but I walked in and then I did it again. But at second time was a charm. I did okay. Yeah. But it was crazy. So do you think that writing your books, it's a lot of therapy for you to write down all your stories?
Open the chapters and real quick so you'll see like the very front, the front part, she's already going to a quote. But just stuff that you're like,
I like this one. Here we go. We are judged by what we finish, not what we start.
Oh yes. I see somebody when somebody does this live about, hey, I'm going to start working out. I don't want to see that shit. I want to see you working out. Don't be telling me.
Let me see your tracker at
Let me go see you sweating and saying, hey, I just finished walking half a mile or I just finished walking around the block. When you say, that's why when I say I'm going to do something, and I put it out there, I'm like, oh, hell, I better do it because I already told people. And they'll tell me, hey, you told me you're writing that book, Grit. I'm like, yeah, it's coming. It's an ebook, but it's coming.
Are you writing a book, Grit?
Okay, and so
I love that.
The ebook is coming. And there's some other stuff out there, but definitely the journal, though, is coming out.
I would like to
let's take a moment to say hi to everyone.
Hey,
so Frank Chapa is with us.
Hey, Frank.
Ana Carnela. Curtis was watching.
Oh, Yaneth. Hey,
Yaneth actually said, good morning, ladies. Yeah, I get to tune in for a bit. And she said, love all the connections. That's when we were talking about Hector and how he introduced everyone. Eunice is watching. Bobby is watching. Brian and Art.
Thank you for watching.
Wow,
thank you guys. Yeah. Now, let me just kind of jump out to the art.
Stories.
When did you start with the art?
Okay, childhood, kindergarten. I just wrote, did I write about it? I can't remember. I wrote a little story. If you guys follow me on Facebook, I write short little stories. And I'm like, I went to an overcrowded school off Telephone Road in Wayside. Okay, that was Gulf Crest Elementary way back in the 70s. And it was like I always would put my apron on. I would even make a knot so you couldn't take it off.
Oh.
And I was little. I'm a little person, so you can imagine. And I would wait in line for my turn to do art. I never got to paint ever.
What?
I would be pissed off. And I was like, my teacher, oh, there's next time. And my mom would be like, no, bitch, there's no next time because I'm small and I get pushed to the back of the line. And so I decided to start doing art at home or coloring. It's a talent. We're all born with factory installed gifts, just like roll down windows in a car or power steering or whatever. We all have those gifts. And so I knew I wanted to be an author, an artist, and an archaeologist. So 2 out of 3 ain't bad. But it took me a long time to get to the road of corporate America, jobs, marriage, divorce, babies, going to school, reinventing yourself over and over again. So when I do artwork,
This is beautiful.
I would, you know what? I would love to have, and I have had some friends come in here and they work and I'm doing art and they're just hanging out and they watch me. And
I feel like that would be very therapeutic.
It's-
Good idea.
yeah.
So you might be seeing more of me.
yeah, no, I have girlfriends who are, hey, I'm around the corner at Chick-fil-A. Can I come in? I've got some paperwork. I'm like, yeah, and they're here doing their thing, and we got music. We don't even talk, and and then they start
Yes.
watching me, and so that's what I wanted this place to be
Yeah.
for everybody.
It's very warm and inviting and creative.
And bright,
to
yeah.
talk about what you said, that we're all born with these gifts, I agree with you 100%. I just feel that sometimes we have to tap into our subconscious to unlock those gifts.
Yes.
Because a lot of people have them, they just don't know that they do.
Oh, or we get wrapped up. We get wrapped up in the daily grind. We get up in the morning. We go to the hair and makeup. We get in traffic. We go to work. We deal with work. We deal with clients. We get home. You got homework. You got kids. You got to walk the dogs, pick up dog shit, wash clothes. I mean, before you know it, it's 9:00 at night, and you're like, where?
You ever notice like you're so busy with life, like all these things that you're describing,
Yeah.
and then like this life-altering event happens, like you lose your job or you know
Mhm.
you lose someone you love or whatever it is, and then these gifts that you didn't know you have,
They're there.
they just come out on their own. They
There's
were just waiting there to come out.
There's a meme that I saw that says, "Don't kill yourself over a job that will replace you the moment you die." You know?
Oh, yeah.
They replace you the moment you like walk
Dude, they
out that
replace
door
you as
while
you're
you're
getting in
there.
the car, you know, and I was told, hey, you got 10 minutes. We know you're not happy here. I'm not happy here. I was the top producer. Well, I just found out later what happened, what really happened. It's all about numbers. Boss didn't make numbers. I made numbers. Boss stays, I go. So you look back and you're like, what do I do? I mean, it's, and I still don't know what I'm
It's a
doing.
doggy dog world, you know? Doggy dog world.
Dog eat dog?
Doggy dog world.
Dog
Doggy
eat.
dog.
No, it's dog eat dog, not dog eat. Yeah, see, look at
Dog
your face
eat.
now, girl. You'd be like, I gotta eat a dog. It's dog eat dog world. Duh.
But it is true. Like sometimes.
Doggy dog.
Because you eat, you know, like kind of like you kill
Doggy
your
dog.
own, like,
No, doggy dog. Dog.
Oh my
Dog.
God. Ew.
She's like, that is so gross. That is too violent.
You never knew all these years. Doggy
You
dog.
just experienced this on live. Like,
Puppy.
oh my God. I'm never using that phrase ever.
No, she's gonna-
Dog eat dog. No,
Dog
it is
eat
a
dog.
good phrase though. It's true.
Frank's laughing his ass off.
I didn't know that. Hey,
We're not even
Whatever.
drinking. We're just
Whatever.
drinking coffee. Okay.
What
Okay.
was in this coffee? I told you no Baileys. I told
No,
you
no, no, no.
obviously, I'm
just
the
coffee.
more
Just
naive out of the group right here.
No,
Like,
no,
I had
no.
no idea.
I'm
40 years
sorry.
later, I
I'm
just
gonna
know
tell
what it
you.
was.
It's a doggy dog world. Okay, so let's move forward. You were
So-
talking about the art or the studio?
Yeah, no, the art. The
Yes.
art.
Well, let's talk about what's next for Sharon. What's
Okay.
next? What, besides your
No.
ebook
Ah,
and the journal that we're
laughing.
here for, we're living for it.
Well, you have a paint and sip today.
Speaking.
Which is
Speaking engagements. Are
that's what I was
want.
going to talk
Okay.
about because I saw I have a little list here, speaker, and we hadn't talked on that.
Well, and this was in one of the books. I think it was in this book. In 2007, I wrote a book called The 12 Secrets for Successful Hispanic Women. Don't buy it. It's a piece of shit book. It's very generic. I was writing in a very not my voice. It was very. I look at it. Somebody's trying to sell it for $500 on Amazon. And I was going through another tumultuous part of my life with my narc mom. So long story short, I got a speaking opportunity at the University of Houston, Victoria, Texas, for the South Texas Latino Conference. and I shared the stage with Jackie Guerra, who played the drums in Selena. So she was the main speaker. I was the other speaker. I was paid $3,000 for 30 minutes. I sold 40 books in 30 minutes. I had a standing ovation. I had people crying. I was crying. It was an amazing thing to feel that power. And it was funny, and it's just who I am. And, you know, I was talking about my grandmother, who was my hero, Juanita Rea. And so I remember calling that person.
It must feel so
and
good.
saying, yeah, oh, no, this is what I was told. Oh, you call that a book? That sent me in a spiraling depression for 5 years. I didn't write. I didn't do anything. I just was like, and I read about that. And I write in the book, like, F me. Why would I even have accepted that? But it was a chapter in my life. So then years go by, and I write these books now. And so you're like, what was that pivotal point where you're like, it's funny, somebody can say something in it to trigger. It's always a trigger.
And it's certain people that trigger you, because not everybody has that effect on you. Not everybody has that power.
No, if it was said jokingly, or if it was said, hey, you know, because I take constructive criticism very well. I will sit with Steve or Hector and we'll analyze the books, and they're like, hey, this better. That's different. But you're not to poo-poo or shit on someone's, you know, that was an amazing thing I just finished doing. Wow. So it stopped. And then I thought, okay, I'm ready to go back. So speaking is something I'm working on, the next type of speaking tour. My book is at the Carl Jung Center, which is in the Montrose area. Okay. I didn't know about this. Have you ever heard of Carl Jung?
Yeah. Well, at the library, right?
Well, know who he was.
Oh, no.
Who he is.
I don't know who he is.
Friedrich Nietzsche. He's a psychologist, anthropologist. I mean, Google him. I was like, what? I think there's only, is it Chicago, LA, New York, and Houston, there's Jung centers, and it's spelled Jung because he's German, Jung, the Carl Jung Center. One of the directors happened to be in my studio one night for a workshop, and she's flipping through the book, and she's like, I need this in my bookstore. I'm like, there's a lot of F-bombs. She goes, that's what we want. We want, if you go to their bookstore, and you should go, it's on Bissonnette and Montrose, I think. You walk in and it's so peaceful but energizing. I can't explain it. There's art. You walk in there. So the book sold out the first time and the second time. Wow. And I've got to get my act together. I've been asked to do a lecture in November or December.
That'll be amazing. Let us know. Keep us posted.
Yeah, I'll keep you posted.
So we will be there.
Do you, and I know just talking to you briefly before and now, you're a very optimistic and positive person despite all the things that happen.
Well, I have my dark moments.
But
like
generally, I feel your energy. You're super positive and energetic.
Thank you.
I don't feel like that's been a setback for you. I think that
that's what's helped me. That's been my superhero cape. And everybody has it. Like when you say, oh, let's just do it. You know, everybody has to pull that card out, that superhero card. Like you did when you walked around the room and then you
know what I say sometimes?
Walk around.
You just had to fluff the cape.
You had to fluff the cape.
This is so like stupid, but sometimes I'm like, I'm gonna do what a bad bitch wanna do, and then a friend will ask me what a bad bitch do. I said, what she gonna do? And I walk in there. He's like, okay.
It's like you get out of your own body and talk to yourself because people see us differently. I saw a woman that I look up to recently. And then she tells me that she has low self-esteem and she feels really down. And I'm like, oh my God, she's normal, but I don't see her that way because, you know, we all have that. So, yeah. Superhero capes.
Yep. Yeah. Well, a lot of people look up to you for different reasons, you know.
Do that? Oh my God. Don't do that.
I mean, you're true. I feel that you're an inspiration. I look up to you.
Well, thank you.
I love your books. You know, I'm going to read them, but just like everything that we've been talking about, it's so uplifting and I even feel like, whoa, I can do this.
Yes, I think like everybody should.
It gives me that little
power, and especially when you come in here, it's overwhelming. The colors that are in this studio,
I love it.
And everything's different. I don't know if you noticed, pieces are all different.
Yes, they're extremely different.
They're all different. There's no, and I never know what I'm going to do, and it's like that one has 5 different pictures underneath it because I was like, I'm not gonna like it.
You did a painting on your stories, and I like literally saw there. I think it's out there, the circles.
Yes.
And I sat there, and I watched it, and I like went in a little trance, and I was like, and I messaged you, and I was like,
yes, you
that
did.
was really satisfying. Because I was like,
And I went back and I looked at it, and and then Instagram's like, oh, you don't own the copyrights to this song.
oh,
But
well,
they-
do this
well,
all
I'm
the
glad
time.
that I caught it when I
But
did.
no, if they kept it.
Oh, okay.
So I was like, okay, cool. Maybe.
You know, it's beautiful because art is, you can interpret it however you want,
Oh,
even
yeah.
though the author might have had a different idea, but art, anybody can interpret it to whatever they're feeling, whatever they're going through.
It is therapy as well, art therapy. Tonight I'm having my first sip and paint night. I only took 9 people in, plus myself is 10, and so I'll do one in July. Maybe I'll do one every other month.
That is
They're just
so
going to be these
awesome.
cool little canvases, and we're all just going to paint. And I just want to bring out that inner child and relax because we're in traffic, and if you can get away from 6 to 8:30 and come in, hang out.
And I've been told that you also like to do vision board, like get-togethers,
We
which
do.
I am a big believer in vision board.
And why is that? Why is
Because
that?
I feel like it puts your dreams, it gives it a vision. Well, not a vision, but it gives it a reality.
Yeah, manifestation.
It's
Yes.
a visual. Well, we're visual creatures, so we have to see it.
So I created a vision board, and a lot of my stuff, I would say 50% has manifested into reality.
Where do you keep it?
I keep it in my closet. My closet is a bedroom, and I use that. That's
Oh,
where
you
that's,
got one of those nice closets.
that's where I get ready and all that. So I see it every day, and it could be something so random to somebody, but to me, they mean something, and I've seen them slowly manifest into reality. It
They
makes
do
me feel so
come.
good.
Not everything, but most of it. I want to do one. We're halfway through the year.
And that's another thing. You do a lot of little workshops here in your studios.
Yes.
So where exactly is your studio?
1502 Sawyer Street, studio number 140. So we're upstairs in the mezzanine. We are in the largest art district in the U.S., which I didn't know. There's 80,000 square feet here.
Wow.
And then there's, have you been to the other?
Yeah.
You've been on the tour of it's huge
And
here.
it's pronounced the silos.
Silos?
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 Yeah.
I don't know. I always say it wrong, and then I'm corrected.
Tomatoes.
Doggy dog.
Doggy dog.
Doggy dog. Well, she's never gonna.
This is the old rice mill.
Yes,
So
yes.
people don't know the silos, but they know the old rice
Right.
mill, Mahatma.
But
Rice. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, I don't know.
Whatever.
But it's really
Y'all
cool.
get me.
It's really
but
cool.
if people want to like come to your workshops, they should definitely follow your page, right?
Follow my page. I also have a small little website called registerfortheevent.com. Rolls off the tongue. Registerfortheevent.com. I bought that, and that'll tell you what's going on. And I'm really kind of ding about it because I'm like, oh, I need to post it there. Or it's on Facebook. I did not make a Facebook page for this event coming up. I kind of kept it small. And it's funny, and you've been here for small.
Mhm.
They're fun.
They're a lot of fun.
When you
guys.
have 10 people in here, and we had a moment where nobody was talking, everybody
Yeah.
was just scissors, and the music was pumping, and we're just like,
Those are the best moments.
But you were like the
though.
best host. You
Oh,
had
thank
food,
you,
you
thank
had
you.
drinks,
Yeah.
you had, and I mean,
it was fun.
it
And
was
people took
really
their shoes off.
yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds like a perfect party.
It
to
was
me.
it was beautiful, guys. So I really highly recommend that you go
Oh, thank
find
you.
Sharon Lee Zapata and follow her page.
You need to give us all your handles because these are a lot of.
Well, you know what had happened? I'm all over the place, like the little hamster. You know what? Just put Sharon Lee Zapata in a browser bar.
And you come
Well,
up.
I actually
It's
linked
scary.
it. I
Girl.
linked it on
Googled
there.
myself
Girl.
yesterday. Mm-mm.
No.
You famous, girl.
I
You're
linked
really on
I linked
Google.
your Facebook on there, and I linked your link to Amazon for the book.
Oh, thank
So
you. Yeah, they can
they're
get the book
on
there.
there.
Yeah.
But you have sip it, paint and sip
Tonight. We have now next month, because it's next month is next week, July.
Can you believe that, guys? 4th of July is already next
Mm.
Thursday.
The second Saturday, it's called Second Saturday here at the Silos. They changed the hour, so 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. All the studios are open, and it's crazy awesome. There's music, there's food trucks, there's all.
I'll be here.
We have between 100 to 150 people come to the studio, and I have regulars that actually come. They'll sit here and there on their phone. But that happens July and August, second Saturday, 6 to 10. And then in September, it'll switch back to daytime, I think noon. And I'll be honest, that's where Mama makes her money. On that second Saturday, art will be any piece of white space. It's because the art sold.
Wow.
And so it does sell.
Well, we
yeah.
love coming out here. We
Thank
actually
you.
were out here like 2 or 3 weeks ago, just Frank was just playing with his camera and taking pictures.
Great pictures out here.
We just love.
Wasn't
We like
the
this
fashion
environment.
Well,
show
that's
here?
where the back shot.
There was
The
one
No,
of
at
the
other-
fashion
at the other
shoot.
side of-
Oh.
yeah.
This one was off of
Yeah, it was the one on I-10.
Oh, okay.
Oh, well,
But
that's
there
the
was one
poachers.
here. I think Danny.
Well,
Lynch had
A
one
lot
here
of
this
last
was-
year.
photographers.
Actually, I think Worlds Collide the time before was here.
It might have been.
Yeah, 'cause
I know there was one here before.
Oh, wow.
But we didn't get
Well,
to
you
see
have
that
the
one.
silos, you have Winter Street, Spring Street, Summer
Yeah.
Street,
Yeah.
Sabine. So it's a big art district
Yeah, it
here.
is.
And then Buffalo Bayou is opening up the brewery. And then there's Hollow Brewery, which is around the corner.
Yeah. I've been wanting to catch that one.
You know what? It makes me feel so good because I feel like Houston gets overlooked so much on everything, on
Yeah.
art,
Yeah.
on our parks, our music, our fashion. Like we just get overlooked all the time. So it's nice that we're considered like the #1 largest for art. That's
Very
really cool.
multicultural city.
We
Yeah.
are. And we have so many beautiful places to offer tourists, even us as residents here. There's so much things to
There's
do.
so much to offer.
Like if we actually pretend that we can be a tourist and try to navigate through
Staycation.
Houston, you would need more than a weekend. It's crazy.
You would, because there's so much to do here.
Like I'm 40 years old and I've lived here. I'm a native Houstonian, lived here, born here. I've never even been to the underground tunnels in downtown.
I've been
That's on my
once.
bucket list.
You
That's
need
on
to
my-
go. They're really cool.
Yeah, that's on my
Really
bucket
cool.
list to try because I feel like we take for granted so much of the fun stuff that's here to do.
And it's funny when I see people that come in here that are not into the art world, they walk in like this. Like it's the Willy Wonka chocolate factory and something's going to happen to you. And they're like, this is where you work? And I'm like, yeah, this is where I work. And I don't expect anybody to buy anything when they come here. I just want them to feel good. And that's how I roll. Just feel good, enjoy yourself. And so I do have people that just
Yeah.
because it's a different world.
Yeah.
I don't understand. I guess because it's art, people don't take it seriously like you're playing. But it is,
And not all art speaks to everyone,
No. I had a piece. I had a guy come all the way from New Orleans for a little piece that I had. And I'm like, really? He's like, yeah, I saw it on Facebook and I wanted it. And I was like, okay. Higher than a kite, too. He told me, I'm so, I love this piece. I'm like, okay, I'm really stoned, but I like your artwork.
It's
I love
crazy
it.
that you say that because the other day I listened to an opera song and immediately it moved me to tears and I was like, I don't know why I'm crying, but this speaks to me. It was in Italian, so I don't even know what it was. But immediately I just started to get choked up and I just felt it. It felt so beautiful.
That's beautiful. That's amazing. Wow.
I was like, I love when I see something and it just immediately evokes these emotions. I don't even know what I'm feeling, but I'm feeling something.
What is that? What is that called? There's a psychological word for that. There is a term. I'm gonna have to look that up.
Yeah, you
Because-
have to tell us because I don't know what it is.
Yeah. Is a doggy dog.
Sharon.
I'm never gonna listen.
Well, guys, with that being said,
We're done.
Sharon, thank you so
Oh, thank
much.
you.
We are so excited, and
Thank
please
you.
do keep us posted on your speaking engagements,
Yes,
on
coming up.
any
Really there.
new book launches, or any little workshops that you're going to have here. That
We'll
I'm
do
always
that.
like,
Well, that
I'm
journal
always down
middle
to-
finger, the journal thing, I definitely
Yes.
keep us in mind.
I'm working on that. It's going to be a very nice little. It's a tool. It's going to be like a toolkit for guardrail damage.
And then
Yeah.
you should have a little get together and have everybody work on that together. I think that'd be
I love it. That would be good.
Ooh, I'm
That
going
would
to
be
borrow
good.
that idea. We should.
That
I
would
think
be
that's a
good.
great idea.
Well, all
And
right.
thanks for the
Thank you for the coffee.
Sharon.
I am like so cracked out on this.
It was, you know what? It's just Starbucks French roast. It's like,
It's really good. It's really strong.
you're like, "Whoa."
Well, guys, thank you so much again for tuning in. Sorry for the
Thank
mishap
you.
at the beginning. You probably don't even remember it. I shouldn't have even mentioned it, but we will be back. Next
Next
week is going to be
Thursday.
a little, next week is going to be a little bit
We're
different.
not sure if we're going to film Thursday because it is a holiday. We're still
Oh,
debating if
that's
we're going
right.
to film Wednesday
July
Yeah.
4th.
live.
Oh, my goodness.
We're still working out, but we're
Let
gonna
us get
have-
our life together and we will let you know.
Yeah, we're gonna be interviewing Sandra Centeno of Gabbana Models. They have a pageant coming up, Belleza Mundo Latino, and we want to talk about that because they are still have a open casting call for contestants. It doesn't cost anything
Wow.
to participate, and there's going to be a lot of awesome prizes given away. And this is open to male and female. So you guys, if you've never been in a beauty pageant and you want to get crowned, here's your chance.
There you go.
And one more thing, the ages are 15 to 38, 12 to 38, and married, not married. All we ask is that you have a pulse. Pretty
Okay,
much.
so real quick before we go, we just wanted to say hi to a couple of people that tuned in. Virgie, hey Virgie.
Hey.
Roberto's in love with you, Sabi.
That's my friend.
Okay, and then Kimberly, hi
Fellow
Kimberly.
Scorpio.
So thank you guys for tuning in, and we will see you
Bye,
next
Robert.
week.
Thanks for
Bye.
tuning in.
everyone.
And it's a wrap.
We love that thing. We love
I
that.
know.
What's on there? Is there something written? Oh, it looks like a real one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He needs some
Scene
chalk.
one, take
He
two.
needs chalk.
We
Yeah.
have chocolate.